My name is Sarah Martinez, and at 38, I thought I had it all figured out. I was the Senior Director of Innovation at Megacorp Industries, pulling in a solid six-figure salary and driving my leased BMW to their glass tower in downtown Chicago every morning. But I had this idea. This big, audacious idea. Picture this. Instead of companies spending millions on clunky, outdated software systems that took months to implement, what if we could create an AI-powered platform that would adapt to any business in real time? Think Netflix's recommendation engine, but for entire corporate workflows. I called it FlexFlow. During our quarterly strategy meeting, I presented my vision to the board. 23 slides of pure innovation. Market research showing a $50 billion opportunity. Proof of concept demos that made even our most skeptical engineers nod in approval. CEO Robert Harrison looked at me over his wire-rimmed glasses and said, "Sarah, this is interesting, but we're a traditional solutions company. We sell what works. We don't chase fantasies." CFO Patricia Wells chimed in, "The development costs alone would be astronomical. We'd have to rebuild our entire infrastructure." But I wasn't backing down. "Sir, with respect, this isn't a fantasy. This is the future. If we don't build this, someone else will. And when they do, we'll be obsolete." The room went silent. You could hear the air conditioning humming. Harrison leaned forward. "Sarah, I appreciate your enthusiasm. But you're thinking too big. Way too big. This company succeeds because we stay in our lane. We're not Google. We're not Amazon. We're Megacorp, and we do steady, reliable business solutions." I felt my cheeks burn. "But sir, the market data clearly shows." "The meeting is over," Harrison interrupted. "Sarah, I think you need to refocus on your current projects. Leave the big picture thinking to the executive team." As I walked back to my corner office, laptop bag slung over my shoulder, I had no idea that in 3 weeks, that very same vision would cost me everything. But it would also make me everything I never dreamed possible. 3 weeks later, I was perfecting my FlexFlow prototype after hours. I'd been staying late every night, coding until 2 a.m., fueled by Starbucks Venti Pike Place and sheer determination. The prototype was beautiful. Clean interface, lightning-fast processing, and it could adapt to any business model I threw at it. I'd tested it on everything from a local bakery's inventory system to a law firm's client management. It worked like magic. Friday morning, 9:47 a.m. My phone rang. "Sarah, could you come to my office please?" It was Linda Thompson from HR. Her voice had that artificial sweetness that every corporate employee learns to fear. I walked down the hall, past the motivational posters about synergy and thinking outside the box. The irony wasn't lost on me. Linda's office smelled like vanilla candles and bad news. She gestured to the chair across from her desk. "Please sit." 2 manila folders sat between us. She opened the first one. "Sarah, this is difficult, but we're going to have to let you go." My stomach dropped. "I'm sorry, what?" "Your recent behavior has been concerning. Working on unauthorized projects, using company resources for personal ventures, and frankly, your attitude during the quarterly meeting was inappropriate." I stared at her. "Linda, I've been here for 6 years. My performance reviews are spotless. I've brought in over $12 million in new business." She slid a paper across the desk. "This is a non-disclosure agreement. You'll receive 4 weeks severance, but you cannot discuss any proprietary information or projects you worked on here." My hands shook as I picked up the pen. "This is about FlexFlow, isn't it?" Linda's smile never wavered. "I'm not sure what you mean." I signed the NDA, gathered my things from my office, and walked out of Megacorp Industries for the last time. As I sat in my BMW in the parking lot, I realized something crucial. They hadn't just fired me. They'd set me free. The first month was brutal. I'd wake up at 6 a.m. out of habit, then remember I had nowhere to go. My savings account was healthy, but not start a tech company healthy. I moved out of my downtown apartment and into a studio in Queens. My BMW went back to the dealership. Hello, subway card. But I had something they couldn't take away, my prototype. I spent 14 hours a day in that cramped studio, surrounded by empty coffee cups and takeout containers from Chen's Golden Dragon. The fluorescent light above my desk flickered constantly, but I barely noticed. I was in the zone. FlexFlow was evolving. Every day, it got smarter, faster, more intuitive. I'd feed it new business scenarios, and it would adapt instantly. A restaurant chain wanting to optimize their supply chain? Done. A marketing agency needing to track campaign performance across 50 clients? Handled. But money was running out. Fast. I applied for small business loans. Rejected. I pitched to angel investors. Rejected. I even tried crowdfunding. 12 backers, $347 raised. One particularly low night, I was eating my third package of ramen this week when my phone buzzed. LinkedIn notification. Sarah Martinez, Megacorp Industries just posted a job opening for Senior Director of Innovation. Interested. I laughed until I cried. They were looking for someone to replace me. Someone to do exactly what I'd been trying to do all along. That's when I saw the second notification. A message from Marcus Chin, CTO of TechFlow Solutions, heard about your situation through the grapevine. Have an interesting proposition. Coffee tomorrow. I stared at the message for a long time. Marcus Chun was legendary in our industry. If he wanted to meet, it meant one of two things. Either he was about to offer me a lifeline, or he was about to steal my idea. There was only one way to find out. Marcus Chun was nothing like I expected. Instead of the typical tech bro in a hoodie, he was a soft-spoken man in his 50s, wearing a simple blue button-down and jeans. We met at a small cafe in Brooklyn, far from the corporate towers of Manhattan. Sarah, he said, sliding into the booth across from me, I've been following your work for years. What happened at Megacorp was criminal. I sipped my coffee, trying to read his expression. What do you know about what happened? He smiled. More than you think. Robert Harrison and I go way back. We were roommates at Stanford. He called me 2 weeks ago, asking if I'd heard any concerning rumors about former employees starting competing ventures. My blood ran cold. He what? Relax. I told him I hadn't heard anything interesting. Marcus leaned forward. But between you and me, I think what you're building could change everything. I almost choked on my coffee. You know about FlexFlow? I know enough. And I know you're running out of money to finish it. He was right. I had maybe 6 weeks left before I'd have to get a regular job just to survive. Marcus pulled out his phone and showed me a bank transfer confirmation. $500,000. To my business account. Completed 30 minutes ago. Consider it seed funding, he said. I want 30% equity, and I want to help you build this thing properly. I stared at the screen. $500,000. Enough to hire a small team, rent proper office space, and actually compete with the big players. There's one condition, Marcus continued. We're going to target Megacorp's biggest client first. Morrison and Associates. They're paying Megacorp $2.4 million annually for software that does half of what FlexFlow can do. I felt a smile creep across my face. You want to steal their biggest contract? I want to win it fair and square. With a better product, better service, and a better price. We shook hands right there in that little Brooklyn cafe. I had a partner, funding, and a target. But I had no idea that Megacorp was already planning their counterstrike. Within 2 weeks, we had an office. Nothing fancy, a converted warehouse in Long Island City with exposed brick walls and industrial lighting. But it was ours. Marcus introduced me to his network, and suddenly I had access to talent I never could have afforded. Jessica Wong, a brilliant UX designer who'd worked at Apple. David Rodriguez, a back-end developer who'd built scalable systems for Netflix. Amy Foster, a sales director who'd closed deals with everyone from IBM to Tesla. For the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. We worked like maniacs. 18-hour days, pizza dinners, and endless cups of coffee. But it didn't feel like work. It felt like we were building something revolutionary. FlexFlow was becoming everything I'd envisioned and more. The AI was learning faster than I'd ever hoped. The interface was so intuitive that new users could master it in minutes. And the customization capabilities were mind-blowing. It could adapt to any industry, any workflow, any business model. 3 months in, we were ready for our first real test. Morrison and Associates. I'd done my homework. Their contract with Megacorp was up for renewal in 6 months. They'd been complaining about system crashes, slow customer support, and outdated features. They were paying $2.4 million annually for software that was basically held together with digital duct tape. Amy set up the meeting. Sarah, you need to understand something about Morrison and Associates. They're old school. They value relationships over everything else. They've been with Megacorp for 8 years. I nodded. So how do we get them to even consider switching? We don't ask them to switch, she said with a grin. We show them what they're missing. The presentation was scheduled for the following Tuesday. 5 days to perfect our pitch, refine our demo, and prepare for the meeting that would make or break our company. But on Monday night, my phone rang. It was Jessica, and she sounded panicked. Sarah, you need to get to the office. Now. We have a problem. I raced through Queens traffic, my heart pounding. When I arrived at the office, the entire team was gathered around David's computer, staring at the screen in horror. What happened? I asked. David turned the laptop toward me. Our servers had been attacked. Not by hackers, by lawyers. A cease and desist letter from Megacorp Industries was displayed on the screen. They were claiming that FlexFlow violated their intellectual property rights and demanding we shut down immediately. The meeting with Morrison and Associates was in 12 hours, and Megacorp was trying to destroy us before we even had a chance to compete. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I called every lawyer I knew, trying to understand our options. The consensus was clear. The cease and desist letter was mostly bluster, but fighting it would cost time and money we didn't have. Marcus paced around the office like a caged tiger. This is Harrison's move. He's trying to scare us into backing down. Is it working? I asked. He stopped pacing and looked at me. That depends. Are you scared? I thought about it. 6 months ago, I was a corporate employee with a steady paycheck and a comfortable life. Now I was risking everything on a dream that might not work. Terrified, I admitted, but not backing down. At 9 a.m. sharp, we walked into the Morrison and Associates conference room. 12 people around a mahogany table, including CEO Patricia Morrison herself, a woman whose reputation preceded her. She'd built her law firm from nothing into a $100 million operation. Ms. Martinez, she said, I understand you have something interesting to show us. I connected my laptop to their projector, took a deep breath, and launched into the presentation of my life. I didn't just show them FlexFlow. I showed them their own data, how our system could reduce their case management time by 40%, improve client communication by 60%, and eliminate the crashes that had been plaguing their Megacorp system for months. But the real magic happened when I opened the live demo. I input a complex case scenario, a multi-party litigation with dozens of clients, hundreds of documents, and multiple deadlines. FlexFlow processed it instantly, creating automated workflows, scheduling reminders, and generating reports that would have taken their current system hours to produce. The room was silent for a long moment. Then Patricia Morrison smiled. Impressive. What's the catch? No catch, I said. Better system, better support, and we can do it for $1.8 million annually. That's $600,000 less than you're paying Megacorp. She leaned back in her chair. And what happens when Megacorp comes knocking on your door with lawyers? My heart skipped a beat. Did she know about the cease and desist? Ma'am, we're confident in our intellectual property rights. This system was built from the ground up, with original code and innovative approaches that go far beyond anything currently available. Patricia Morrison stood up. I'll be honest with you, Sarah. Robert Harrison called me yesterday. He warned me that a disgruntled former employee was trying to steal their proprietary technology. The room felt like it was spinning. I'd walked into a trap. But then she smiled. I told him that if his system was so superior, he shouldn't be worried about a little competition. She extended her hand. Ms. Martinez, you have a deal. When can you start implementation? Megacorp had lost 7 major clients in the past 4 months. Their stock price had dropped 35%. And according to inside sources, they were scrambling to develop a next-generation AI platform to compete with emerging threats in the marketplace. Too little, too late. My phone rang. The caller ID made me smile. Robert Harrison. Sarah, his voice was strained. I think we got off on the wrong foot. I was hoping we could discuss a potential partnership opportunity. I leaned back in my chair, looking out at the city skyline. Mr. Harrison, I appreciate the call, but I'm not sure what we'd have to discuss. You made it clear that I was thinking too big. Sarah, please. The market has changed. We need to adapt, and frankly, you're building exactly what we should have built years ago. You're right, I said. You should have built this years ago. When I was sitting in your boardroom, showing you exactly what the future looked like. There was a long pause. What would it take for you to consider working with us? I thought about all those nights in my Queen's studio, living on ramen and determination. I thought about the cease and desist letter, the fear, the doubt. I thought about Jessica, David, Amy, and Marcus, the team that believed in the vision when no one else would. Mr. Harrison, I don't think you understand. I'm not looking for a partnership.